All right, we're live. I think we're live.
You can see some action. Rock on.
It says live. I think we're good.
Good. Well, you guys will be able to see the comments. Probably I can't, but we have 2 extra like phantom girl bosses logged in, and we don't care because that's how we roll, right?
Yes. All right. Thank you for your patience. We have Katharyne Shelton with us tonight, and she's a real doll. Oh my goodness, because we've been like tinkering with this for the past 10 minutes, and yay, we're good. So
I am so excited. So
yes.
Just can you see like the comments and stuff? Can people?
Yeah, I've got them pulled up.
Yay. I just wanted to make sure that people could actually like see us and stuff.
I wonder if it'll let me. Yeah, let me see.
Is it showing it right for you guys? Because it's actually just showing me like as a thing. But is it? How do we get to see, or how does everybody else get to see us?
I can see you all. I can see you jumping around. So I think
good. So like when you're talking, you're big. Because it's not jumping around for me, but whatever.
No, it skips to whoever's talking. So we're good.
Beautiful. Maybe it's working properly. Good job, ladies. Great job.
Love that. Yay.
All right. So, like Amy said, hey guys, thanks for hopping on. This is our very first official Girl Boss YouTube episode. So kind of migrating over this way, joining the rest of the crowd doing this here. And for our first episode, I can't think of a better guest, but we do have Miss Katharyne Shelton, and she is the KDP and Createspace queen for sure. So welcome. Thank you for coming on with us.
Thank you. Hey, it's super exciting to be here. Thank you so much for having me, and super nice to see you both.
Oh, you too. It's always great to see you.
Well, I just love hearing. I mean, I love seeing you, but I love hearing you more.
Oh.
I love your voice.
Oh, I know, some people like it, and then I get other people on YouTube who are like, if she says Amazon one more time, I'm gonna
how rude.
Oh, that's too funny.
Not at all. I love it.
I know all the girl bosses are super nice, and I see Amy Herberger in the chat, and just it's really nice to be with you guys. And I always like girl boss because it's like super friendly and everyone's cool.
Yeah, don't take any crap in that group. Yeah. That's for sure. keep the drama llama out of all of that.
Right.
Sorry, I shouldn't.
What I love is too, like we have a tendency of like encouraging and building each other up, which is very special that we have in both the groups, the Girl Boss group and of course your group too. So
yeah, we got good vibes. There's a lot.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I definitely have was introduced actually to basically, your group, your channel, what you do. I would probably say a couple months back when people started getting amped up about doing like some composition books and things like that. And personally, I was brand spanking new to merch or print on demand last year. So when this popped up, it was like I had no clue. Like I was sitting there thinking that there was, oh gosh, like the Createspace and all that kind of stuff was for the like just for writing books and stuff. And so that's just what I had no clue that you could do some, fun stuff like what you were doing. And immediately though, I was directed right to like tangent templates and everything that you were doing. So, I mean, I don't know if you kind of want to give a little bit of a rundown on the background about how that came about to where first I'm assuming you were doing something on the platform and then all of a sudden you're like, there's a need for this. So can you share a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, a Createspace itself was around for a long time. In fact, KDP has been around for a long time too. But KDP was primarily for ebooks. So KDP stands for Kindle Direct Publishing. Okay. And I'm sure everyone's familiar with Kindle, the software, the little tablets. And that was really what Kindle Direct Publishing was for, to make ebooks to go on tablets. And then Createspace was also around. And I think Createspace started as an off-Amazon product, and I think Amazon sort of brought it in and made it an Amazon platform as well. So there was always once KDP started offering paperbacks, there was always like a little bit of overlap there. So that's kind of the Amazon perspective on it, that there was Createspace and KDP. And at first they had quite different functions, but now I think in August they merged in, or September, like it's very recent, in the last couple of months, Createspace merged into KDP. And Createspace wasn't just for books. It was also CDs and DVDs. And so those have also moved to Amazon Media on, I think it's Media on Demand or Disc on Demand now. So Amazon have like all these platforms. Like there's a lot of selling platforms on Amazon for different, for digital products. They've got video games going on. They've got a whole bunch of different platforms. For me, from my perspective, I've just kind of been around reselling and creating products since about 2014, 2013. And I started a group in 2014 called Treasure Hunting. And hopefully we've got a few treasure hunters here. And our main thing was, we started off with yard sales. We started off with selling retail. And I just went to yard sales. I was doing all this stuff and I just couldn't stop talking about it. So I started making videos and YouTube and a lot like what you guys are doing now, doing sort of shows, weekly shows. We had a Spreecast, we had Zooms, we had all these things. And I kind of got bored of just reselling products that I was treasure hunting for and finding. So I started getting more and more into creating products. And we put out a course called Blue Sky Create. And it was all about I started off with bundles. So I started off creating bundles. And from there, we moved into like creating actual products. So finding companies, wholesale companies that would customize products. So we started making like white label products. So you could create your own coffee or create your own candles or whatever it was you wanted to create and sell on Amazon. So I really kind of moved from being about reselling to being more about creating things. Like how can you come up with your own product ideas? And I think it was around then I discovered Createspace. And in our Create course, which I think was early 2015, we included a chapter or a module on just some ideas for books. And at that moment, I was really focused on public domain and taking content like recipes and putting together different sort of books like that based off of public domain information or based off your own sort of creations and writing. And gradually that sort of evolved into coloring books. And we saw this huge fad blow up in 2015 for coloring books. And we were like, okay, let's jump on this. How can we make a coloring book? So I talked to my partner, who's a graphic designer and a programmer, and he's just awesome. And I said to him, how would you make a coloring book? And he showed me these filters in Photoshop. And I was like, hey, this is really interesting. Let's start doing this. So we put together a coloring book course. Lots of people make coloring books. I think you guys know some of the stories. We had some really, really successful authors in that group. And we kept playing with Createspace. We were like, well, what else can we do with Createspace? What ideas are there? And I think really at the time, a lot of people still were viewing them as for proper authors. Like you have to write a book to be on Createspace, to be on KDP. And we started doing composition books. We thought that was the easiest thing to do, just do lined paper with a margin and do composition books. So we actually created a template for one of our courses, for our Curate course, and we gave it away free to people. And we realized that summer we'd started doing composition books and there were hardly any on Amazon. Like there weren't many people selling them. And I was literally still buying composition books from Walmart, reselling them on Amazon from like just the Mead and Norcom ones. So I was like, okay, we can do something more interesting with this. We can make some like interesting composition books. So we started making composition books with unicorns on, or putting Alice in Wonderland pictures on them, or Starry Night, like whatever we could think of. We were putting it on composition books and they were selling like crazy. So we gave away the template and I said, let's everyone in my Curate group, if you want to make composition books for back to school season, do it. Let's try it. And a lot of people did really well with them that first year. But the problem was we kind of saw the amount of composition books on Amazon skyrocket, because literally we went from there just being Norcom and Mead to being like all these thousands of composition books, which was cool. But we were like, okay, we've got to do something more than this. What other ideas are there? So we started playing with like graph books, doing grids. We even did things like isometric. Our kids came home from school and they said, we've been doing 3D printing at school. And they had these pages of isometric paper that they were drawing their designs out. And Isaac and I looked at each other and were like, aha! So we did sort of isometric. I don't know if that's, you can see that, but that's like isometric paper. Yeah. So we started doing all these different sort of like stationery books. And in April, Isaac said, I'm going to put sort of our top templates into a package. So I think we launched with 12 templates in April, and we called it Tangent Templates because we have another product called Tangent, which is our keyword niche research product. So we called it Tangent Templates because we thought, okay, it'll just be like a little one-off product. It'll be like a little spin-off for people who like using Tangent. And it kind of blew up. Like so many people bought it and started creating their composition books, creating isometric books. We put sheet music in there so people could compose music. And we've been updating it since. And now we've got 40 static templates. So we call them static. Well, those are just the ones that you can print out. And we now have 12 dynamic templates in there as well, which are planners and prompts. And the cool thing with those is that you're actually generating your own interior. So you can put your own content in there. You can put your own sort of date ranges and customize the fonts and the look of it. And that's kind of where we're heading more with sort of expanding the templates. So we're still working on it. Like we started it in April. I think it's been like 6 months and it's a work in progress, but we can't believe sort of just how much support we've had from everyone to take it from those original 12 templates to now having sort of like 52 templates and all these tools in there. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate that a lot.
Well, thank you, because I appreciate it a lot too. I'm a huge fan of Tangent Templates, and I love how it's grown in just the short bit that I've been subscribed to it. And the planners, I actually have one planner right now that's selling every day, and I'm just like,
awesome.
Oh my goodness, like I never would have thought. Yes.
It's a little Halloween planner that we did, so using the templates.
I love your templates. I really, really do. They are amazing. They're steel, and they make life just so much easier for anybody that is curious about like KDP. And well, you know, I have some great ideas for covers and I'm really creative in that, but I don't know how to make an interior. Well, here you go. It's done.
It makes it fast. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, that is awesome. And it's interesting because I actually, I got the templates right away. So I actually had purchased them and I hopped in and I like poked around a little bit. And then like trying to reform myself, I have not just admittedly, I've not uploaded one.
Girl.
I know.
It takes 1 hour. 1 hour and you'll have a book up.
It's a shame. I know I can do this really quick. You know, and it's I think it's just like everybody kind of in this space, you know, really trying to you know, get your focus. And especially now that we're in Q4, I'm really trying to rein myself in. And I have, like I said, this is something that's definitely on my plate, and I'm, you know, it's going to happen for sure. I know that there's plenty of people that are, you know, rocking it right now and getting in early, which is super smart. So kudos for everybody, you know, doing that. And if you're not, obviously you know exactly how to do it. And I think you actually have a killer group too, because I know actually the reason why I even found out about this is because Miss Amy Herberger shared something in the Girl Boss group and I couldn't see it. And I'm like, what the heck? Why can't I see this content? She's like, well, you must not be in the group. I was like, I need to get in that group.
Oh, I'm glad you did.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I know that you put out amazing stuff because, I mean, she always filters it into the group. So that is just in itself so valuable. And I know that the community appreciates that tremendously. You know, it's funny because I feel like you know, when we start chatting with people of all different parts of like e-commerce, it's fun to see where people come from, because like so much tends to like overlap. Like I'm sure there's people that, like you said, like you have your treasure hunters that then have probably done Createspace, that have probably, you know, do merch. And I mean, the question is so do you do merch as well?
Yeah. We actually did a course last year called T-shirt Revolutionaries. So we've been in the merch space quite for a while, but we kind of moved more to KDP now. So we're our focus, like mine and my partner's focus, is more KDP. But yeah, we're still doing merch. I mean, it's great. It runs itself. You got your T-shirts up there, and so you collect the royalties, which is great.
Yeah.
So I haven't done a pop socket yet. I have to admit, I haven't done a pop socket yet.
Those are fun. Those are, admittedly, are really, really fun. I love doing, like, I've had some people, you know, send me like pictures or something that they want for Christmas, and giving them as gifts or stocking stuffers. And I think that is just the cutest. And they've been incredibly happy with them. I mean, it's funny because I didn't realize the print quality on those when you're talking pictures is just so good. And I think it helps that they're small. You know, if it was something big, then obviously you'd have to, you know, play around with different sizes and stuff. But since they're so small, but it does a really, really good job. So yeah, pop sockets are pretty fun and simple. I know that Amy likes those too.
Yeah. Oh, I love the pop socket.
So in fact, I have your dogs or kids that you're muting yourself for?
Kids. They're literally right on the other side of this wall right here.
Aww.
And my 2-year-old's loud, so.
Oh, I don't think. Well, we can't really hear. It's okay. It's all right. I think Matt.
Till he yells, and you're like, "What is that?"
Yeah, Matt. Like, it always happens. There's dogs. It happens. So, anyways, so where are you located, Katharyne?
Oh, I'm in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. And where are you originally from?
Oh, I'm from Guernsey, the Channel Islands, and no one knows where it's from. It's like where there's a lot of cows there. So.
Oh. Hey, I'm from a place where a lot of cows, and nobody knows where that's at either. It is in Michigan, but still nobody knows where that's except for some people that might be watching. They're like, hey, we know where that's at. But you guys are the only ones. So.
Cow place in Michigan, yeah. I know it well.
Lots of cows. Yeah, so that's really so. Okay, so what did you do before you got into doing stuff online?
Oh, oh my gosh. That's a really good question. Wow. I'm really ADD. So that's kind of my thing. So I started off as a computer programmer in my teens. So when I left school, 18, I went and got a job as a developer for a few years. And we actually had a pretty successful product for the banking industry. And that was pretty much what I did. It was I created this product that we launched then. And then I had my first daughter when I was 22. I got married at 21, had my first daughter at 22. And I kind of stopped everything at that point. And I was just a stay-at-home mom for, and now about
don't use the just word, but it's okay.
Sorry.
I know what you mean.
Sorry. But yeah,
I'm just teasing. I think, you know why? Because I'm telling you right now, like, even with people like, oh, you know, you have a daughter and you work from home, and I'm like, I know, but I just feel like it doesn't matter, because obviously you're always doing something, whether it's work or with, you know, your children. And man, those stay-at-home moms, I'm just blown away. Like, seriously, like, that's just 24/7 nonstop, you know? And so anyway, sorry.
Well, you know, I think I say just because I think I was kind of spoiled. Like, I had my family around me, and I feel like I didn't do other than looking after the kids. I felt at that point, I didn't do that much. And I felt like later on for me, it was much more of a wake-up call after I moved to the US. And so I had my kids. I was stay-at-home mom. Then I went to college late, and I got my college education late. So I did theatre, and then I did business. So I did business as a distance learner. So I did that, and then I had my third baby as I moved to the US, and I moved to the US pregnant, then just everything hit the fan, and I got divorced, and then that was kind of when things got real, and I was like, okay, I need to make money, I need to keep a roof over my head, I don't really know many people here, I'm in a new place, and that was when, like, I really had to hustle. And so that, I think that's why I can look back and be like, oh, life was kind of cushy when I played video games and just looked after the girls. And it's like, I kind of had this huge wake up call. And so then that was when it sort of started for me, really. And I was going to yard sales and just hustling, like anything I could think.
Definition of girl boss right there, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that is like an incredible story. And no, I hear what you're saying though. And it's funny, I'm gonna like sidestep a little bit only because it's just something that I've kind of been chatting with a lot of people about right now, like, you know, mothers. And there was somebody she's a new mom, and she had, you know, wrote this post about how, you know, she was just so basically incredibly overwhelmed, and how, you know, the expectations for women to, you know, work and do this and do that and and I was just, you know, trying to be like, well, you know, don't put so much, you know, it's your expectations, don't put so much, you know, on you. I think that we start to do that to ourselves. But you made a really, really good point. Like you said before, it seemed like, and I don't know why it seems like there's a little bit of a change, but there was a lot of family surrounding and helping. And you know what, the whole thing that says it takes a village is, you know, it's really, really true. And that's why, and again, I try and think about this stuff sometimes, and perhaps that's why, you know, a lot of moms are just feeling like so crazed, because they are, you know, you're doing a lot on your own. And here you are though, here's your story going from that to, oh my gosh, I'm, you know, doing this on my own in a country and I don't know anybody else. And you had 3 children at that point, right?
Yeah, and I think it's really hard, especially for mums. I don't know, the UK kind of they give you maternity leave, and like you kind of, I mean, when I left my job, I had like 3 months sort of full pay, and then sort of like I was kind of taken care of. And it's like, here I realized, like, okay, no one's taking care of me here. Like, I need to like really hustle, like without getting political or anything. I'm just like, it was just very different circumstances.
No, I hear you, but I think that that's probably a reason why, you know, I mean, there's so much anxiety and craziness right after, you know, women are having a baby, because that is an incredible amount of stress and adjustment. And I mean, so it's interesting because you say like over there you had it good, but I mean, I guess if you want to say, and I'm all about thinking that like we have amazing opportunities, and I'm very positive about what this country has and everything like that, but I do see that very downside, and a time that can be really, really, you know, challenging, extremely challenging, and to a point to where it's not exactly, you know, fair when you're just like, okay, there's moms that have to go. I remember when I had my daughter, and we had been working from home together for a long time at this point. And that's one of the reasons why I actually waited so long to have my daughter. My mom had me at a really young age. So I think that's why I kind of pushed it back a little bit. Or a lot of it actually. But anyways, you know, I can remember thinking, you know, when she was 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and I'm like, there's not a chance that I could go back to a job right now. And you know, me getting into this space of e-commerce, I really thought, I went to college, I thought, hey, I loved working. I'd be a career woman, a corporate chick, you know, I really thought, and I'm like, there's no way. I could not leave this 12-week-old baby. So it crushes me when I, you know, see people and they're just like, they have to go through that. And obviously everything's good and it works out and whatever, but man, that is really, really difficult.
But it should be a choice. Like, I think it's so awful when if you're forced into it. It's like you want to be at home with your baby. Like a lot of people, you want to be at home with your baby. Like I know for me, I mean, I honestly, I had pretty bad depression after my first baby was born, and like I was planning this like hippie, peaceful home birth, and it turned into kind of a horrific experience that took quite a lot of time to recover from, like both physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine sort of having that clock ticking of like, I need money as well. Like that would have really sucked. So it's
well, kudos to all the mamas out there and that, you know, push through that or have been through that, because you're definitely not alone. And it's tough for sure. And like I said, well, awesome. Like I said, I really do appreciate though you know sharing that aspect of that struggle of having to do that with 3 kids. And how old were your kids at that time when you were like, oh my gosh, I got to do something?
Yeah, so well when I moved here, my daughters, let me see. So right now my kids are 17, 15 and 9. So I was pregnant with the 9-year-old when I moved here. So, oh my gosh, this is like math. So they'd be 7 and 5. The girls were 7 and 5 and I was pregnant. So,
wow.
Yeah. The first year or two was okay, and then I got divorced, and then it was like, okay. And my grandmother was living with me, and she was kind of helping me out, and then her visa ran out, and she had to go, so I was like, I'm on my own. What do I do?
So was that what started you looking for a way to make money and provide, and it kind of led you into like the world of Amazon and reselling?
Yeah, so it was funny. I started dating Isaac around that time. And we were walking, it was just after the divorce, I started dating Isaac, and we met a friend of his in a shopping mall, and he was carrying all these bags. So he had like Victoria's Secret and like and a Bed Bath and Beyond and Bath and Body Works and all these bags. And we were like, what are you doing with all those? He goes, all right, don't tell anyone. Actually, he knows now. He watches all my stuff now. So it's like
secrets out, y'all.
Right. And I mean, now part of me is always like, is that just the story he told me about the Victoria's Secret stuff? But so he said, no, I'm reselling it. And I was like, whoa, that's cool. Because I used to do a bit of eBay in England and in Guernsey. So I was like, oh, that's an idea. So I just started researching the sort of different prices between things. And I found there were groups on Facebook, and I realized like there was this big world out there. And it kind of felt like a game, like retail arbitrage. Like,
oh, yeah.
Really felt like a game in the beginning, that you just walk around big lots scanning and see what sort of dings. And it's like, oh, hey, money. Cool. Okay. And I think in those days, in 2000, I don't know whether you guys have been doing the retail arbitrage, how long, but it felt like in those days it was really wide open. Like you could go to any store and scan, and it was like having this sort of secret knowledge. It's a bit harder now, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it was interesting because I think I kind of went through that progression with everything. We started with like books and CDs and garage selling and Salvation Armies, and it was so random how we even got into it. And then we did progress to, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and then now we just focus on our own private label products and stuff like that. But it's interesting because you do see, when everything kind of like the landscape starts to change, but I find that they're really the opportunity is still amazing. And I think that this goes along with, what you're doing with Createspace and KDP. Okay, so which one is it now? They just transitioned. What's the
KDP now?
It's KDP now. Okay. So what you're doing with KDP is that, we had been doing, in that space for a long time. And though the landscape changes, it's like people start getting freaked out and don't understand that it's going to happen. Like, this is just part of being online. This is part of being business. This is pretty much part of life. I think it does move a little bit faster now, especially if you're in this space. But the whole thing is that there's so many people like, oh my gosh, there's so many new people. You're right. There are so many new people that are getting involved. Because it's a great opportunity, whether you're talking about KDP or merch. But realize that, you stick and stay, and I'm just going to rhyme this. You stick and stay, you'll get your pay. Like, that's really what it is, because there's so many people that'll come in, and think about the discouragement that you might feel as being around for a while or whatever and noticing the landscape changing. There's people that are just getting in. They don't know any different. They don't know it was easier before, and they're crushing it.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, I can compare this to the mortgage industry. So right after college, for like the only pretty much job that I had pre-e-commerce was about a year of doing mortgages. And I got in after like the heyday. Like, everybody's like, oh my gosh, it was so easy because everybody was refinancing and da-da-da. And we got in like right after that, to where, that wasn't even what was going on. And we did, my girlfriend and I, we had done really well when we had all of these other people that were really, really struggling, but we didn't know any better. So it's like, they didn't have that. They just were easy. Then it started getting harder. So then it was like, whoa, instead of realizing that that's how it's going to be, and you're just going to have to continue to step up your game, because the people that are coming in that are new, there's two people that they just have that drive and they're going to go after it and they're going to make it happen. Or they're going to get discouraged a lot faster and they're going to fall off because there is more competition. So just whatever you're going to do, get good at it, stick with it. And I mean, there's opportunity for sure. You just got to be stubborn and persistent, right?
Absolutely. And creative. I mean, I think like if you just, what I love about KDP is like there's so many different directions you can go with it. You can write a novel, or like you can literally write a content book. You can write a novel or your memoirs. But I mean, like I came up with sticker books like a week ago. I suddenly thought, oh, you know what's really big at the moment? Like stickers. So I was like, okay, well, that's cool. I thought maybe you can make you can just create like color books and put sort of space for stickers or photographs or scrapbooks. So, I mean, this was one I made a video sort of last week. But I mean, that was a new idea. And I was like, okay, there's lots more directions. Like, I feel we've only kind of just touched on what we can do. And I know people are doing like spell books. They're doing like witches spell books, which are huge on Etsy. A lot of people are doing sort of spells on Etsy.
That is fun.
Like there's so many directions. And I think the more we've been, and I mean, I've been doing it for sort of 3 years, and I feel there's still so many ideas. I'm still going, oh, whoa, there's a good idea. There's a good idea. And especially because we're always sort of trying to develop the templates. We're always like brainstorming, what more templates can we put in there? What else can we put in here? So I don't think it's anywhere near saturated. And what I do see, I mean, I think a lot of people are doing plain journals and plain notebooks, and that's kind of getting a bit more challenging just because a lot of people have done it, but it's still wide open. There's still niches. There's trends every day. I mean, like people were talking about the scooter business and sort of how they're leaving scooters in big cities. And we see them in San Diego, like the people go and collect up the scooters at night. I mean, you can make a logbook for that. Like every new thing, every trend that's coming out, there's an opportunity for a book. And I think it's just this year we've really seen like how you can literally make a book for anything without having to be a writer, without having to be an author. That once you sort of start thinking in terms of like templates and interiors, it becomes very easy to make a lot of books quickly.
Oh, she's muted.
Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Sorry, I thought I had hit the button. My bad. So you seem that you've always kind of had this creative nature for yourself and the things that you've been interested in doing. Has that always come naturally to you, or is it something that has progressively gotten better the more and more that you intentionally try to become creative?
No, I'm like not a crafty person. My degree's actually in performance art, so I'm kind of into theatre and performance and I think what performance art teaches you to do is to be brave and to just do things and not to worry. So if you want to make a video, if you feel like singing a song, like whatever you want to do, you just do it. And I think that's like the more I'm doing this, the more I'm thinking, like I feel the combination of creativity and bravery really helps with being an entrepreneur, of like not being afraid to lead and pioneer. And I think most people, when they have an idea, like I think everyone's creative and I think everyone's overloaded with ideas. But I think most of us are trained into being kind of inhibited about sharing those ideas because we have this feeling of, well, if I have an idea and no one else has had that idea, then there's obviously something wrong with it. I can't be the only person to have this idea. And it's like, well, you're not. You might be the only person who's ever spoken it or put it out there or said it. And I think it's sort of just the combination of allowing yourself to have ideas, but also to speak those ideas or to make them happen, or to like not being afraid of your ideas and not being afraid of having stupid ideas as well. Because I feel like if you have stupid ideas, those turn into good ideas. If you follow through with them or you just let them out, sometimes they can be the stepping stone to really, really good ideas.
And I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Somebody it doesn't sell. It's okay. You know, you leaped out and now you're going to be more confident to leap next time.
Yeah, and I think, and you learn. I mean, every mistake you make, everything you do, like, okay, that's a mistake you're not going to repeat again. So hopefully, sometimes.
That was my dog. I was like, what's that? So, okay, not to like sidestep back, but this will be it. So do you actually, so you work with
My husband, Isaac.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know if you were married yet because you said dated, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I know that. So that's cool. So you guys do work together full time as well. That is really awesome. And you guys met, and you weren't even doing this yet when you guys had met. So it was he was doing that, and then you're like, okay.
Yeah, he had a full-time job at a web development agency, and I was staying at home with the kids, and we took an improv class, and we met in an improv class. So, and we were both going through a divorce. We were both like right in the middle of our divorces, and we just kind of started talking, and we had this connection. So,
and how long have you guys been working together full time together, or whatever? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, when did you leave work? It was 2015, 2014, 2015. Yeah, he left work, I think, in about 2015. So I think it was after we put out the first course. So he does all the tech for our websites, for our courses, all the classes we've done. He's built the platform for them. So everything is
awesome.
From scratch. We don't use many third-party tools. And he built templates. So it's like it's just kind of worked out really well that I can talk and chat and like post on Facebook. And oh my gosh, Amy, that screen time thing you posted this morning, you know?
Oh, that was good.
Oh my gosh.
That thing's been a slap in my face for the past week.
So Amy posted on Facebook this morning about there's a new tool on Apple on the iOS called Screen Time. And it tells you how much time you spend looking at your phone every day. I almost cried.
Oh, yeah. And it gets into it, too. It tells you how many times you've picked it up, whether you've spent more time on Facebook today than you did yesterday. It literally yells at you, you know? And you're like so convicted when you're looking at it like, oh, my gosh. I deleted like a ton of games off my phone today because I'm like, wow, I spent how many hours playing? Like, really? Where'd it go? Like, I didn't realize. It's crazy.
I can even imagine like I said, the social media part of it though. And that's not even tracking that's just tracking on your phone, right? Because that's not tracking on. So I'm sitting here like on my phone, there's the computer, there's two screens, like there's stuff.
Well, no, it's called screen time. So it's any time you're actually like on it. So
it's not necessarily, you can do it on the computer too.
Oh, I don't know about that. I know it's on like your Apple products. So iPad, possibly if you have a Mac, maybe.
I do have a Mac, yeah.
Maybe. Huh. I mean, I don't know how that works.
I looked on the Mac, but I couldn't find it. So I might be being tech clueless, but I don't know if they've got it yet on the Mac. But
I don't know if I want to know. I'm pretty good about, but I mean, the social media stuff, the Facebook, like, no. I mean, like, even that, like, I do block stuff off, but I would guarantee that the times that I'm not, like, literally blocked, it's the time that I'm on there is probably ridiculous.
Yeah. It's kind of scary. Like, wow, we give our lives to Facebook.
And that's one thing, like I told myself today, I'm like, I'm going to challenge myself to be more productive today than I was yesterday, as far as how I've worked on my phone and my iPad, because that's pretty much how I do merch, and even creating covers for like KDP and everything. It's all on my iPad or my iPhone. So just challenging myself to be just a little bit more productive today than I was yesterday, and that's a win in my book.
It totally is. Those little steps they add up and they make a big difference. And then, and it takes to be able to get that to be a habit. It happens all the time. I feel like, for us, I feel like it's a lot of things. And I think this is another reason why, like, whether it's, our businesses or, whatever we're trying to accomplish, we just realize that there are going to be ups and downs with that. And there's going to be times that like you're going to fall off the wagon, whatever you want to call it. That can be with, your health, your nutrition, your discipline with, like you said, if you're just being structured and not jumping on social media. But I think recognizing those things as being an issue and just working back to get back into it. And I think the more times, or the less time that you're off the wagon, or whatever you want to call it, or whatever. Yeah, the less time that you're off. I think that's what really makes it to where you're just on track a lot more often, and you don't feel it as much when you do kind of slip off a little bit, so good for you for working on that, because I think that's a big thing.
Oh, I see, Amy. I see.
Yeah, I was
question.
I was just gonna say, hey, we're gonna backtrack just a little bit.
Yay.
Yeah. All right. So Amy asked, what advice does Katharyne have regarding using merch designs on KDP?
You know, that's such an Isaac department. Isaac, I see you typing. Do you want to come over and like tell me? He's like typing, but
oh, he's getting ready to answer.
Come in and give us an answer. Have you got an answer? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna pass this one over to the pro. Come on, you look good. You look great. You're good.
Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so like my husband. It's cracking me up.
Come talk to us, Isaac.
You do this shit. I do the cooking.
No, he'll like go on the floor. Let's go on the floor.
All right. You caught me at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. You're good.
All
right.
Good.
There we go. Hey, Isaac. Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
It's a girl boss. Wow.
Yeah, you're a girl boss.
I'm like, I'm with her, so it's
You get a pass.
All right. So, which one's Amy?
No, this is Amy, and this is.
I'm Amy Springer, but it was Amy Herberger, and this is her group. She's the one with the question.
Okay, so you're not the Amy on there.
No, okay, I am Amy too.
Okay.
Okay.
So Amy asked, "What is the easiest way to resize your graphics, your merch shirts for KDP?" So, you have kind of two options. The easiest thing you could possibly do, if possible, is you can upload your image, your raw graphic file, JPEG or PNG, directly to KDP Cover Creator. And with that tool, KDP Cover Creator is a lot more advanced than Createspace Cover Creator. So you can actually resize the image and you can move it around. And that's super awesome. And you can resize it and the excess part will get cropped.
So you don't need to resize it.
You don't need to resize it. You can upload it directly to KDP Cover Creator and then fiddle with it. Now, there are some issues with that. One of them is that the title of your book needs to be on the cover of the book or the spine. And so with Cover Creator, depending on which template you're using, if your shirt, the title of your shirt, if you have text on your shirt and the title matches what the title of your book is, then you're good to go. If not, you'll have to put text on top of it.
Well, you can do that in Cover Creator.
You can put text on top of it with Cover Creator, but it's very limited because basically it's like Canva. It's just going to put text on top of it. You can change the font style. You can change the font, but you know how it is when working with graphics. You need to do some graphical work to make the text look good. Right. So if you can get away with KDP Cover Creator, if you're not very graphic savvy, that's probably your best option is doing that. Giving it a shot. The other option, I personally use Photoshop, so I say fire up Photoshop and just do your magic there. I know a lot of people want like some type of automated tool that'll automatically resize it and convert it. If that's what you're looking for, then I just recommend skipping all that and going to KDP Cover Creator directly because it does it.
Cool. Thank you, Isaac. That was awesome. Does it make sense? So the bit about the title has to be on the cover. KDP have this rule, and so did Createspace actually. Oh, are we still on? It looks like it paused.
I think we're good.
Okay, hopefully we'll come back. So with KDP, you have to have the title of your book on the front cover or on the spine of the book. So if your merch design doesn't have any text on it, you need to find a way of putting that either onto the spine or onto the cover design itself. Oh no, they said they can hear, but we're frozen. So I think if we refresh, we're good.
Yeah, you might want to refresh the feed.
Oh yeah, we're good. If it's refreshed, we're good.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, so you can put the text on in the Cover Creator in KDP. So really. Okay, as Isaac said, I should probably re-explain it because people didn't see or hear that. So with KDP, they don't have that many sort of big rules, but one of them is that you need the title of your book. It has to be on the cover. And by that, it means it's either on the front cover or on the spine. You can add it in the Cover Creator on KDP. And that's probably, as Isaac says, that's probably the easiest way to bring your artwork from merch straight into KDP. You can literally take your merch picture and just put it straight into the Cover Creator. So you don't really need anything else to resize it. It will literally just do it in the Cover Creator. The alternative is making a full PDF, which you can do in Photoshop or whatever other graphics tool you like to use. So hopefully that makes sense.
Oh yeah, totally. No, that's awesome.
Technical questions. Yay.
Yeah. Go for, are there more on there? You'll have to read, or you read. I can't see them. They're not on.
That I think that's the only one I saw on there, but I like Amy says sorcery.
I love it. I'm trying to think because I'm wrapping my head around this now because, like I said, it's a little bit newer to me. All right, so Amy, do you have?
Well, where does somebody start if they're interested? They've heard people talking about KDP throughout, you know, the merch groups and everything. Where do they start?
Okay. Well, there's a lot of different approaches. So, I mean, people come to this in different ways. I mean, we've got some people in our group who are authors and who came in as full-blown authors. And some of them got so into making blank books that they've stopped sort of writing books, and now they're just creating blank books. Because it's kind of sad. Like, literally, they wrote, spent writing a book, and then they just come up with a great niche on a blank book and sell more of the blank book. So I think it's a different mindset. Like, it's not such an emotional thing, creating blank books. I think when people write a book, it's very emotional, and they write that one book. And you get some people who just make it lucky with one book, like Sasha O'Hara. She made her coloring book, and boom, that was like her career. Like that's she made it with one book. Other people are uploading a lot of books and doing well with that. Now, what I recommend, start off with something simple, like just make a notebook or a journal, something really, really simple. I mean, tangent templates. You don't have to use tangent templates. You can easily make a book yourself without touching it. I've actually made a video last week about how to make sticker books, how to make scrapbooks. So you could take that approach. You can use Canva or something like that to make a very graphical book. Or you can just take one of our templates, use that as your interior, add a cover, and upload that. And for your cover, you can put... The nice thing with KDP is they're a lot more relaxed than merch. So the content is a lot more open. You can put more in your book. Obviously, you still can't infringe on copyrights or trademarks, but they're a bit more reasonable about trademarks. Like, just because someone happens to trademark a word, that doesn't mean that KDP are going to pull it. Because literally, there's books like People of Walmart that use the Walmart trademark, but they're not infringing on that trademark. So KDP are more... understanding of what's actual infringement rather than what's just using a trademark in passing. So there's a lot of kind of good things about KDP. They're a bit more relaxed. They also are pretty good to work with. Like, if you ask them questions, they're usually pretty good about coming back and answering them. There's multiple approaches. The templates are great because they just clear up any problems with the interior. Like, a lot of people say, oh, I've had such a hard time trying to set the bleed, trying to set the margin, trying to make sure I've got all the sizes right, and it's coming back with errors. And then they upload a template and they're like, oh, I went through. And it's because we spent hours, or Isaac spent hours sort of figuring out like what the perfect bleed, what the perfect margin is. So they're like super professionally designed. But honestly, I mean, I made this sticker book. This is kind of my demo sticker book. And I mean, I made this in like half an hour, just using Canva to put it all together and some images from design bundles. So you can make a great looking book, whether or not you're using templates, like very, very quickly. I would recommend, if you want the easiest possible start, get our templates and just upload a notebook, upload a planner, stick a picture, a cover picture on it. And you can use public domain images. You can go to like metmuseum.com. You can go to publicdomainreview.com. I think it's .com. Maybe it's .org. I think it's .org. But public domain review, you can go and grab a picture from there and put that on your book. So you can start off with a very simple book, just a notebook and a cover picture. Now, I recommend not staying there, not staying with just plain notebooks. I recommend mixing it up. I recommend doing some planners, mixing in your own designs, customizing the templates, and sort of the more unique you can make them, And also, the more functional you can make them, I find the more likely you are to get sales. Like if you can see a need for people, like, I don't know, people have come to me and say, like, I need a book to monitor my blood sugar. Like I have to write that down, or I have to write down what I'm eating in a day, or I have to write down how many times my dog's sick, and I have to sort of write down how many times she goes for a walk, or how many times she exercises or pees or whatever. That's a need. And we're in this great position where every time we see a need, we can create a book. Like, I mean, by we, I mean like everyone who's using KDP, we can create books for particular needs. And I think the great thing is a lot of people, and I know, Amanda, you said you were selling books. You used to sell books, CDs on Amazon. I think a lot of us who have done book selling, and like we've spent our Saturdays paying our dues, scanning at church sales and library sales. What we learn from that is that weird niche books sell. So like you might know, like, okay, mechanical books, like car mechanic books, and all those manuals for books, manuals for cars, they sell for big money. So you can take those same keywords and make like a car mechanic's logbook, or a mileage book, or like I don't know, a car repair book, and you can take all those keywords and create your own book in any niche you like. So it's like you kind of, if you've been selling books on Amazon, you kind of know how to hack the book category. Like you know what sells, you know what words and keywords and niches sell. So I think you're at an advantage if you've sold books a bit on Amazon.
That's a really cool point and way to look at it too. So with obviously having like the different niches and stuff, do you utilize any type of like ads or AMS or driving traffic or
yeah, a lot of what I've been doing with KDP is organic. I'm starting to use more ads, and I'm really, I mean, the focus for me is more on teaching. I feel like I really try and learn things in a way that I can teach them. So that for me means a lot of testing. I like to run ads and really, really test what works and try different approaches, try different strategies. And I'm doing that at the moment. I've been really sort of trying different approaches with ads. And it's all kind of moved over to the Amazon advertising, which is much the same as AMS actually. But I think there's definitely a lot of scope with the Amazon advertising, especially with the product placement, that you can target by products. Like that's huge. So I'm hoping to put out more information on the advertising in our group soon, because I think it's huge. I think it can really help sell your books. But the great thing is, I mean, you can market anywhere. You can market. We've got so many platforms for marketing, and people who are making content. They've got things like Wattpad and Goodreads. Like, there's a lot of sites out there for books. But for what we're doing, this sort of low content, like, you can post it on Instagram. I mean, we had one guy in our group. He connected with a subscription box and got his book selling in subscription boxes. And that was like 500 sales in one go because it was in a subscription box. Cool. And boutiques, like people are getting their books in specialist shops, in hotel boutiques, in salons. Like this, if you create a book for a purpose, you can put it anywhere. And we've got a lot of people putting them in schools as well, going to their kids' schools and saying, I'll make a custom book for you. I'll make a composition book. I'll make a yearbook. I'll make like whatever kind of books the school needs. So, I mean, yearbooks, like if you can make a custom yearbook for your kids' school, that could be a great sort of joint enterprise. So I really like books. I think there's just this huge scope that you have with books. And they're cheap as well. Like you order them from Amazon, it's like $2.50 for your book. So
oh wow.
There's actually talking about yearbooks and everything like that. It kind of brings us into one of the questions in the chat. Any advice on products that sell well in Q4? Like the compositions seem to do best around back to school. Is Q4 a free for all? And or planners, journals? What is really hot in Q4 from your experience?
In Q4, everything. I mean, everything is, but I think dated books. So one of the things I did a while back when I was really starting to get into Createspace was I made a class called the 365 project, and that was like a free class. And the idea was that you would create a prompt book. So if you look in sort of Barnes and Noble, they have whole end caps now of prompt books. Like they have sketchbooks that each day it says like draw a mountain, draw a cupcake, draw whatever. They also have guided journals. So each day it says write about your thoughts about your mother, or write a letter to your husband telling him sort of what sort of you've been thinking about today, or like there's all these guided journals for different purposes. And any sort of transition or journey people go on. So I find things like rehab or recovery from an illness, or like going through a sort of a challenging period like a divorce or a pregnancy. Those kind of things people really like to journal about. So I started making prompt books. And this is like a really simple one that I did for kids called like My Favorite Everything. And it's just story paper, but each page it has, so it says my favorite band. So like kids can draw their favorite band and then write. So it kind of makes it fun for them to practice their handwriting. And I found that prompt books they're really good at Christmas. Like if you create prompt books, guided journals, anything that people will give as a gift. Notebooks, coloring books are still big at Christmas. Like a lot of people feel like, oh, a coloring book's dead. No, I mean, if you look at Amazon, they're still selling. They still have great ranks. But I think it's just about niches. It's just about finding good niches and finding sort of new ideas and trends. And any trend, I'm pretty sure any trend you can turn into a coloring book or a journal or some kind of book.
Well, and I think too, like you said, the prep books and everything. So if people aren't super familiar, because I know that I wasn't, but those are something you actually have templates for that are included, right?
Say that again, for the prompt book.
The templates for that are included with your
teaching. So this was actually the first book I made with our own prompt generator. So we have 8 templates, and basically you just write a list of prompts, you click the button, and it creates an interior from those prompts. So we're actually looking at making more, we call them dynamic templates because they're generated. We also have a planner one. So let me see. I know I have a planner here. This is actually the templates we have transparent. So I actually put color behind them for this one. This is like a Halloween one. But this is a planner. So it has each day of the week, and then it has times on it. So this is kind of like an appointment book. But we also have weekly planners with each week on, so you can create a diary. But yeah, it's all built into templates now. So it actually generates a planner for you for the date range you want, or with the prompts you want.
That's amazing. I just think of it like, I just don't understand. You have to, if you're going to do this, you really have to get, you don't have to say it, but I will. Like, if you're going to do this, you have to get tangent templates. Pretty much. I mean, yes, you could do it by yourself. You could take forever. You can do them archaically one by one. But I feel like what you've just shared with us and the creativity, or the opportunities that are out there with the variety that people can do, you know, having them be able to put their creativity actually into the differentiation of their product versus, you know, the actual structure behind it or whatever. I mean, it's just amazing that it's already taken care of. So it just lets them be creative, get your product out there, and you know, and like you said, at this point they can do, you know, the blank composition, the prompt books, the journals, the planners. Like, it's amazing that that's just something like, bam, let's just put that inside there, and I'll just worry about, you know, making the outside pretty.
Oh, and that's only just a small part of it too. Like, I mean, there's like paper for everything in there. It's amazing.
And we've put some extra tools in there. We've got an HTML editor in there. So if you're making a description, you're actually allowed to put, I know with Amazon Marketplace, they're kind of weird about you using HTML in the descriptions. On KDP, you are allowed to put some limited HTML in the descriptions. So you can make like nice bullet pointed lists. And I love doing that because it's just such an easy way of creating a description for your book. have just a bullet pointed list, and it looks super professional. So we keep adding little tools like that just anything to make it easier. And we have a list a mile long. We're just working like, how quickly can we work and get all these things out and get these tools in there? Because we have a really strong, like we started off with this and it was like a side. Now we have a really strong vision for this. So
love it.
Where can people find you?
Okay, so you can find us. We have a Facebook group. We're at facebook.com/groups/ and we're still on Amazon Createspace. So we haven't changed the group URL, but the group URL is just groups/Amazon Createspace. If you just look up KDP Katharyne, you'll find us there. If you're looking for the templates, they are at templates.tangent.rocks. So it's templates.tangent.rocks. And we've actually put all our YouTube videos about KDP onto the website there. So it's like all our resources are in one place. So it's really easy to go and see those. So we've been trying to just sort of gather as much information and put together as many resources as we can for KDP.
Cool. And I know there's a way that we can put that in the description here under the video. So we'll do that too. There's people that want to find you and they're like, oh, it's time to get the tangent templates.
I'm posting it in the chat as well. So
no, I think like as newbies, we're supposed to be like, okay, like the video, subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and then
ring the bell.
We'll ring the bell. We'll drop the links below, right? I think
that's so much to remember.
Everybody that has like the YouTube channels are like, oh my god, this girl. They're like, no, you're not actually supposed to do that like that. We'll work on it.
Yeah, we're having fun, right?
For sure, totally. But yeah, we'll get it together. You guys will be able to access it. If not, you'll obviously Google. I mean, for me, even if I like type in Google like tangent templates, it pops up for me. So I was able to find, but that was easy, and obviously having all those resources there is just killer. So yes, if you guys are wanting to, check this out, that is 100% the way to go. This is where you go to find all your information, all your resources. And thank you for coming on with us, both of you. Actually, we had a little cameo from Isaac, which was super cool.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been really fun. I wish you all the best with your YouTube channel as well. This is awesome.
And you as well, and yours, because I mean, I've learned a lot with your YouTube and your group, and I hope that everybody that's watching tonight will subscribe to yours as well and join your group and be as blessed as I've been.
It's it's definitely a must. If you guys want to learn about that and get into the group, like that's where you're going to learn and get all the awesome info. So, and that's awesome. I mean, and thanks to you to providing that to the community as well, because there's a ton, like I said, even before I jumped in, like, oh my gosh, like you give a ton of information out. So that's awesome.
I'm always happy to help. If anyone's got any questions, like just send me a message on Facebook or email or whatever works. So it's all good.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again. And thank you everybody that's watched us tonight. We thank you for being patient with us. And
with our two phantom guests. I don't know how it's showing up for everybody, but we'll see. But we have our two phantom guests there. So anyways, all right. Well, thank you, ladies. And we will see you guys next Tuesday would probably be the plan. As Q4 starts like heating up, I don't know. Like, I mean, I definitely plan on, and we're planning on popping on here as it makes sense. But I know everybody, even like guests and stuff, are getting to the point that where they're like, oh, we need to really focus and, getting on us. So the same deal is everybody, if our guests are needing to focus, then everybody probably needs to focus and keep working. So, ready to rock this Q4. And hopefully people are going to be able to sell a bunch of awesome books on KDP, which is the now everything that they call it, that they migrated. So you ladies have a wonderful evening, and we will see you guys next time.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.